Rob. This is Adara Kay, and you're listening to the Garrett Smith podcast.
Howdy, everybody. Welcome to episode 44 of the Garrett Smith podcast with yours truly, Garrett Smith. And today we have with us Miss Adara Kay, and she is calling in from the great state of Oklahoma today. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. And yourself?
Doing pretty well. I've got to be honest. I was wondering if this was going to end up being a reschedule because I believe, and I usually ask artists right off the bat what they've been up to. You kind of shared some big news today or yesterday on Instagram and Facebook, I believe. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, she is now engaged. So that is some exciting news. I saw that. I thought she's got bigger stuff going on than my podcast. So I'm very glad you're still here this evening.
Absolutely. I wouldn't miss it.
Awesome. Well, kind of tell us what you've been up to lately. And I'll start off by kind of telling everybody how I came across your music. And for you is actually very recent. So anyone that anyone that follows any of the Texas Music Life Twitter polls, there's these bracket contests that happen every month. And it was either last month or month before, I believe it was Best Female Artist. And if I'm not mistaken, you are runner-up to Sunny Sweeney, who won the thing, right?
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. Because I started following. I was like, well, I actually need to listen to her music. And so I have been. And I was like, okay, this is really good stuff. So it led to the podcast interview. So I'm glad you're here. Kind of tell us what all has been going on lately and things you've been working on.
Well, let me tell you, my life has been a roller coaster since, coming out of COVID. I had a lot of rounds booked back before everything shut down and had to reschedule those. But thankfully, this past semester, I attend school at Middle Tennessee State University. So I'm always out in Nashville trying to get writers rounds booked. So I had those, and then I was booking shows for the summer here in Oklahoma. I just released an EP titled Who I Am on April 17th, and I just got engaged. So, I mean, it's been a roller coaster of emotions, let me tell you.
Never a dull moment.
No. I
have a really stupid question. As a musician, especially in country, I should know this, but is Middle Tennessee in Murfreesboro?
It is, yeah.
Okay, I thought so. So a friend of mine is a sound producer or like an engineer at the university, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's where he works. So,
wow.
Yeah, small world.
Honestly.
Yeah. I was like, I really hope I get that right because I'm going to sound like an idiot if I didn't. But so you've had a lot going on, and you must have to drive plenty of miles if you between Oklahoma and Tennessee and everywhere else that you go. Have you been traveling a lot?
Just back and forth from Tennessee to Oklahoma currently. I just got home last week and finished finals up here in Oklahoma. So, I mean, I plan on traveling back and forth over the summer, especially just to get more rounds booked and in the books.
So I guess it was probably hard to do a lot of that with COVID going on. So how long have you been able to drive back and forth?
Well, back in last March, it was over our spring break, and I got stuck here in Oklahoma, and I didn't have any of my books or laptops, so we made a quick run out to Tennessee, 2-day trip, and made everything, packed it all up, and came back to Oklahoma, and then I was here until August, and then I went back out there and tried to get the rounds, which I didn't get a round booked until probably November.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's tough, and booking is hard everywhere right now. Like down here in Texas, I know it's kind of an issue of door deals are kind of rampant. Like it's hard to get guaranteed pay from venues right now because they obviously don't know how many people to expect, and people are still getting back on their feet. So it's tough, and I don't really know what the other states look like right now. Our first out of state show was actually in Oklahoma in June, and I don't know, like we got that booked easier than a lot of places that are 5 minutes away from my place in Texas. So it's just really inconsistent.
Yeah, I've been reaching out to a lot of venues in Texas, and they're still trying to reschedule everything they had to cancel.
Yeah, Texas is so saturated though. I mean, like the music scene down here, there's 10 years ago, they didn't have half the bands they have right now. So it's kind of weird to see. We've got a pending one in Lincoln, Nebraska for 2022. I was like, how are we getting, further north and out before we're able to kind of get in our backyard? But, oh, well, maybe it'll kind of spread the Texas scene outward, which would be kind of cool to see. But speaking of songs and music, I think we'll kick this thing off with one of yours. And which song should we kick this off with?
Let's go with Devil in the Grove. It's brand new.
All right, we'll do that one.
I'm in Oklahoma, eyes dark as night. He'd take us down to know ya right before it takes your life. Well, he looked right at me with an evil grin. I was caught, well, don't you see, he was a heavenly sin. Well, he took my hand and led me to the edge, spun me around, he was a gentleman. Mama warned me about boys like you, so don't give your heart away till you know it's true. Honestly, should have left it alone, but I fell in love with the devil in the grove. He spun me around this whole damn town, dragged me down till I hit the ground. I gave my heart, he took my soul, never saw it coming till he took control. Well, he took my hand and led me to the edge, spun me around, he was a gentleman. Mama warned me about boys like you, so don't give your heart away till you know it's true. Honestly, should have left it alone, but I fell in love with the devil in the grove. Never knew being together really could ever feel so alone. But I made a deal with the devil. He took my heart and he stole my soul. Well, he took my hand and led me to the edge, spun me around, he was a gentleman. Mama warned me about boys like you, so don't give your heart away till you know it's true. Honestly, should have left it alone, but I fell in love with the devil in the grove. With the devil.
So tell me kind of the story behind that song.
So the story behind Devil in the Grove is, well, I'm from Lone Grove, Oklahoma, so we always call it the Grove. And I fell in love with this guy and gave my heart way too soon, and he turned out to be kind of like the devil. He did me really, really wrong, and so I had this idea in my head, oh, hey, the devil in the grove. And I took it to one of my buddies in Oklahoma City. His name is Andrew Casey, and we just put the song together probably in about an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Wow. It's crazy how sometimes artists' favorite songs come together that quickly. I mean, it's ridiculous how sometimes the great one, like some classic songs were just written on a napkin or in 20 minutes before a show. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's actually a town about 20 minutes from where I live called The Grove. It's an old ghost town. Nobody actually lives out there. But it's all still set up. It's like a Western town. It's like, I'm going to have to just like breeze through there playing that song sometime.
I think you should.
I'll put that on my list, my to-do list. So take me through your whole story as a musician, you know, your early influences and kind of how you got started.
Well, I grew up listening to old country, like Merle Haggard and Patsy Cline and all the greats. And I didn't really start picking up guitar until I was probably 13, 14. And, you know, I just kind of taught myself, and my dad taught me the 3 chords. But I would always try to mimic and imitate Patsy Cline and LeAnn Rimes' singing styles. So I like to focus on my voice, trying to sound like them, but then also my musical styles, which is mainly what I focus on, is more Miranda Lambert and Gretchen Wilson and the rock side. But I mean, I always grew up just making up songs. I had a Barbie karaoke machine when I was 3 years old, and I would record on that. And, you know, I couldn't read, couldn't write, and I was just making up lyrics as I went.
So would you say LeAnn Rimes is maybe your favorite icon you've looked up to, or who would be like your top 3?
That's so hard. It really is. Honestly, Patsy Cline would be one of the tops, and then Miranda Lambert, and then probably, honestly, Dolly. I love Dolly. You can't go wrong with Dolly.
We've had quite a few people say Miranda and Dolly, so I love that you put Patsy Cline in there, because I'm thinking through my past interviews right now, and I don't know if anyone has mentioned her yet, and that's kind of surprising
Really?
to me. Yeah, because I mean, she's been an influence on a lot of writers, so that's pretty good choices. So you kind of like got started listening to when did you decide you wanted to be a songwriter? Like, kind of, when did you decide that was kind of what you wanted to do?
Oh, so like I said, I used to make up songs, which I think a lot of children do anyways, but I didn't start taking songwriting until about 5th grade. And, that's when Taylor Swift came out, and I was another blonde and wanted to write like Taylor Swift. But then I realized like I wasn't very good, and I needed to start writing with guitar. So I probably didn't start taking it fully serious until I was a junior in high school.
I think my hair just turned gray because I was like, I'm pretty sure I remember my college roommate and I rocking out to the first 2 Swift albums. So that's cool. I have to get brought back to perspective every now and then. So speaking of college, what kind of led you to Middle Tennessee, and what was your viewpoint on kind of taking this music journey with you?
Yeah, I did my first 2 years here in Oklahoma at the University of Central Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, through their music program, ACM, which is located in Bricktown, that's where I met my band and a lot of the great writers. And then I told my parents I've always wanted to move out to Tennessee. We used to travel there when I was little. And I told them eventually I was going to live out there. And I think I was 4 years old when I told them that. And so we went out after my 2 years and after I got my associate's degree, and I fell in love with MTSU, and it's led me to a lot of great contacts.
That's really cool. You mentioned that. I'm trying to think. I was like, why does UCO stick out in my head? And then it hit me. Are they the ones that spell Broncos with the H in the middle?
Yes.
I thought so, because I remember when I was in college, fun fact for the listeners, I was actually our mascot one year. And when we went up to Dallas to do our training with a bunch of college mascots, the Bronco was there, but we kept calling him Mr. Broncho because we were like, why do they have the extra H?
Yeah. And then we
fun.
would roll it. Our saying was roll chose. And I was like, we're Broncos. We're not. It made no sense to me, but yeah.
I love that. So tell me kind of how you started playing gigs and really getting your performances out there.
My first gig ever actually was an accident. I had just applied for this waitressing job out in Kingston, Oklahoma, off of Lake Texoma. And they had Sundance Head, who was the winner of The Voice in 2017, coming to perform, and their opening act had canceled. Well, the guy who hired me also offered me this opening act, not ever having heard me sing before or anything. But that's how I got my first gig, and it was for a pretty decent name. And from then on, I got David Allen Coe, and then Gary P. Nunn, Stoney LaRue, and it just kept going up and up and up. And
those are huge names.
I got very lucky.
I'm sitting here like, that is one happy accident, because usually it just kind of goes up and down. Man, that's incredible. So you've gotten to really meet a lot of great talents along the way.
Oh, for sure.
Well, so kind of take me from there to the recording process. How long was it before you started actually going into the studio and putting music out?
I recorded my first single, which is Chevy, actually, at ACM at UCO as a little project. It was all students that did it. So what you hear on the EP is literally 18, 19, 20-year-olds first starting out. So we just went into the studio and threw something down really quick just so I could release it and have something out there.
That's
and then from then on, this last EP, I did it over at Klassen Records in OKC.
Oh, okay. Well, it's interesting you mentioned Chevy, because I had written down we were about to take a song break, and that is the one I had written down because this one was going to be my pick. And just as a kind of a precaution to our listeners, this song's really catchy and it gets stuck in your head. I was I think it was after that Texas Music Life poll. I was out mowing my yard, and I wasn't even listening to this song, but that one was stuck in my head. I was like, dude, this one gets caught. So I'm going to play that one right here.
Controlling as cruise control, but your keystone don't fit the hole. You're as messy as that caked up mud on that old truck. Your 97 looked like heaven. I drove up to your intersection, turned my Chevy left instead of your dead end. Oh, your heavenly sin. Oh, it's the end. I drove my pedal to the metal. I was gone like City Thompson. I should have known the trouble from the road got shut. We never could have drove ourselves very smoothly. 'Cause darling, you're dodging, baby, I'm a Chevy. Hey, I'm a Chevy. Rumble on the ground while I was burning rubber, going over limits about 100. Oh, baby, I'm gone. Oh, so long gone. I drove my pedal to the metal. I'm gone like Lady A. I should have known the oil was just too messy. We never could have drove our love very smoothly. 'Cause darling, you're dodging, baby, I'm a Chevy. Yeah. Hey, I'm a Chevy. Oh, you steered me wrong, so I guess I'm a Chevy. And I got out of Dodge.
So, which songs of yours would have the best backstories? I mean, I know you kind of took us through Devil in the Grove. Which ones do you think have the best stories?
Probably Why Not and Who I Am have the best backstories.
Which one has the better one? Drop
Probably
a story on us.
Why Not is probably my favorite one I've written, actually. So in high school, I had this really close friend of mine, and she saved my life my freshman year. She never knew it, but she did. And we just got closer and closer. And then our sophomore year, she moved away, and we just kind of lost contact. Well, we played her school in basketball, and so we went to the bonfire after the game, and she came up to me and she was like, you don't live your life to the fullest. Why not? And I just told her, I said, well, people try to tell me this and this and this. And she said, just live your life. She said, why not? You're not guaranteed tomorrow. And, we just kind of laughed at it and shook it off and threw one back. And, a month later, she actually passed away in a car wreck.
Oh, no.
And so I decided to continue this song and write it in tribute of her.
That's incredible. And I'm sorry to hear about that as well.
Yeah.
So if you could take any of your songs that you've put out and make a music video to any of them, which one would you pick?
So Shoes in Trouble, I wanted to make a mix of Goodbye Earl from the Dixie Chicks and Folsom Prison from Johnny Cash. And I kind of wanted to make a mix of those two, and that's how I got She's in Trouble. So it'd be about, we're killing Earl off for somebody and on the run, but we end up in jail, and who knows, it could be a plot twist, and it would only be me rather than two people. Who knows? I can just see it playing out pretty well.
Those on the run type videos are the best. I think I remember the one when Travis Tritt came out with was it Long Way to
Modern Day
Richmond?
Funny.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. I was just like, I love the ones where the cops are chasing people down, or Ragweed when they put 17 out. So yeah, that would be a really cool video.
Yeah, so that's definitely my pick for that.
Awesome. Well, we'll do another song break here. Which song should we throw in?
Well, since you said the word caught before Chevy and how it got caught in your head, let's play Caught.
Sounds great. Wow, that was a perfect segue. All right, this one is Caught.
know you finally gone insane. You go on and on talking bad about me as if they'll listen to a word you say. You smile into a sad frown, honey. You're showing straight out of your way to try and keep everything hidden. The guilt got in your way. Waste your time lying. You don't get a second shot. Don't come back crying just because you got caught. You thought that you could get away with doing what you did to me. You're down on your knees and you're look, baby, you've got nothing left to prove. Don't lie and try to smooth things over. You made your grave, don't lay it too. It's been days, months, years now done. I finally done got over you. Waste your time lying. You don't get a second shot. Don't come back crying just because you got caught. You think that I just might miss you. I know you finally gone and said. You go on and on talking bad about me as if they'll listen to a word you say. You think that I just might miss you. I know you finally gone and said. You go on and on talking bad about me as if they'll listen to words you say. You don't get a second shot. Don't come back crying just because. Waste your time lying. You don't get a second shot. Don't come back crying just because. Don't lie and try to smooth things over. You made your grave, go lane it too. It's been days, months, years now I'm done. I finally done got over you.
So, what are some of your favorite venues or towns to perform? Because since you've gone around several states and areas, I mean, you probably have had several of these under your belt.
Probably my first venue ever, which is Bar Bay on Lake Texoma.
Oh, cool.
It's right out. It's an outside patio, and there's a tree growing, but in the middle of the stage. And you have the outlook of the lake. It's outdoors. People can come in, and it's a nice vibe. Everybody is feeling the music. It's always hot because it's the summertime. Everyone's always feeling good.
I love lakeside venues and like ones by the beach. I love being by the water in general, but something about adding live music to it is just really cool.
It ties it all together.
It really does. So, some of your upcoming plans, what are some of the things you want to achieve next and kind of move for in the future?
Well, I'm hitting the studio next month with Dwight Hamlin at Klassen again. And, I just hope to continue growing as an artist and releasing new things. And hopefully people take a liking to it.
I think they will. I've taken a liking to what I've heard so far, so I'm ready to hear some new stuff.
Well, I appreciate it.
So, where can people find your music if they're not following you yet?
You can find me on all social media platforms and all streaming digital platforms under Adara Kay.
Awesome. Well, are you ready for the big three?
Absolutely.
All right. If you could collaborate with anyone out there, who would it be?
Miranda Lambert.
All right. If you could headline any venue, where would you go play?
Grand Ole Opry.
Good choice. I'm actually about to drive past that here in a few weeks, which is cool, except I'll be on my way to Kentucky and I am not looking forward to that long drive.
That's an awful drive.
I'm just bracing for it. Mind over matter. The grand finale question: what is the funniest or craziest story you can tell from your music career so far?
My first time at Barbie with a full band. We played two-nighters. So we were the opening act for both nights. And the second night, we weren't prepared for this, but we actually got a standing ovation and asked to do encores as an opening act. And we just made something up on the spot. We had no idea that was going to happen or what we would do in that situation because we never really played together. That was only our second show ever together.
That's pretty cool to be able to do that, because what I usually do, if anyone wants an encore, we realize that we're a few minutes short, I just tell the band, I'm like, hey, we screwed up this song earlier, let's play it again, and then we'll just edit it. We'll edit it over the other one for the YouTube video.
I didn't know we could even do it because we were already over time as the opening act, and I looked over and they just kept telling us to play, and we were like, oh, okay.
Oh my gosh! At least you didn't have a situation like in every book I've read by a member of Guns N' Roses. They talk about how Axl was always late, and so the opening bands, they would just get tortured because they would have to stay out there for like 2 extra hours.
No.
Like, yeah, I think it was Jimmy Kimmel once said, the band should have left a stand-up comedian out there just to torture him. Much better to be in your position. Well, I'm excited to see what new music you're coming out with soon, and I'm glad you've been able to get back out there and rebuild after COVID, and give us a song that we can close the episode out with.
Oh, goodness. Let's go with She's in Trouble.
Cool, let's do that one. Well, Adara, thank you so much for being on the podcast, and again, congratulations on all the upcoming excitement you've got going. That's really cool to see.
Well, thank you very much for having me and supporting me on this journey of mine.
Absolutely. Well, we will talk to you soon.
All right.